Hey everyone, John here from testprepinsight.com, and today I'm going to be laying out 5 crucial factors that you need to consider before enrolling in a nursing degree program online. Look, I know how hard it can be trying to decide among all the different online universities out there, especially given how important college is and the impact that it can have on the rest of your life. But that's why I'm here today. I'm going to cut out all the noise and really dig into the key decision factors that actually matter so that you can figure out which online nursing degree program is the right fit for you. So if you're ready, let's get to it. Alright, so before I get straight into the factors, I should just mention up front here that if at any point during this video you feel like you need some more detail, make sure to check out the description below. I'll drop links in that text below the video screen over to a bunch of helpful sources, guides, and resources, so you'll definitely want to check that out as you continue your research. Also, if you find this video helpful in any way, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, and drop us a comment below. That'd really be appreciated. Okay, so let's get to it. So the first thing that you need to do in your decision-making process is to step back and think about how you want to use your nursing degree. What is your ultimate goal? Do you want to be in the ICU or ER? Do you want to work in plastics? Do you love children and maybe want to work in peds? Or maybe there's a narrow specialty field that you have your eye on. The point is that there are a ton of different options out there, and you should first think through exactly what you want to do with your degree or specialize in. This will help you figure out which nursing degree program best aligns with your personal objectives. That way, as you do your research, you can start identifying what I call X factors among all these different universities and their degree programs. And by X factors, I'm talking about the specific characteristics, offerings, and curriculum that align with your personal goals. So think clinical and experiential options. Does the university have clinical opportunities for the field you're most interested in? How many elective credits are there as part of the degree track? That way you can choose specific classes to really focus in on the topics that you're passionate about. Or are there any specific nursing certifications or licensing opportunities that are integrated into the degree program so you can further boost your resume? Or maybe your ultimate goal is to earn a master's degree in nursing after completing your bachelor's. In that case, you'll likely want to check out online universities that offer master's degrees in nursing in addition to bachelor's programs. Purdue Global, which is a popular national online university, is a perfect example of this. Essentially, after completing your bachelor's in nursing online, you can roll right into their online master's program without having to switch schools or waste time. So the big takeaway here is that by spending time up front thinking about your end goals and objectives, it'll help you identify which programs might be a good fit for you personally. Okay, so once you have a good idea of what you want to get out of a program, you need to consider admission requirements and the application process. So, online universities generally fall into one of 2 buckets, either open enrollment or selective enrollment. Selective enrollment schools are the more traditional types of universities that probably come to mind when you hear the word college. These types of universities tend to have more rigorous admission requirements. You'll likely need a minimum GPA, a good SAT or ACT score, and write a personal statement amongst some other requirements. So, if you have a strong academic background and you don't mind putting in the extra work, like studying for the ACT and writing an essay, in order to get accepted into one of these top-rated nursing programs, then you may want to focus your research on these selective enrollment schools. However, just keep in mind that the acceptance rate at selective enrollment schools can be low, especially with respect to their nursing programs. There's definitely no guarantee that you'll get in. So you may also want to consider open enrollment universities. These types of schools are great for students who might not have the strongest academic background, or for people who may have been in the military or workforce for a while and are now looking to go back to school, since the only admission requirement at open enrollment schools, depending on the program of course, typically is just that students have a high school diploma or GED. So if this type of admissions process is more aligned with your background or current situation, I would recommend checking out Purdue Global. I'll be using them for example purposes throughout this video since they're a well-known national online university. I'll go ahead and drop a link down below in the description over to Purdue Global so you can get a better feel for what the application and admissions process is like at an open enrollment college. Okay, so the third and quite possibly most important factor to consider is pricing and affordability. What is an online bachelor's degree in nursing going to cost? And as you probably expect, there are a few factors to consider here. The first thing I would do is look at the university's tuition per credit rate and the number of credits required for graduation. If you know these 2 numbers and do some quick math, this will give you a good idea of what the total cost to earn your nursing degree will be. And just FYI, national online universities typically require either 120 or 180 credits to graduate, and in terms of pricing, it typically ranges between about $250 per credit on the low end, all the way up to $550 per credit on the high end. Though this really depends on the universities that you're considering, as well as other factors like whether you're in-state versus out-of-state, an international student, part of the military, and more. And then on top of the standard tuition cost, online universities usually charge other fees and assessments as well that you'll definitely want to check out. These include technology fees, transcript fees, learning assessments, graduation fees, etc. Sometimes these supplemental costs can really add up, so it's worth looking into prior to enrolling. Now, while we're on the topic of affordability, there are 2 more factors to keep in mind. One is allowable transfer credits. You'll definitely want to research this if you have credits left over from past college experience. This is a great way to reduce the overall cost of your online degree program. For example, at Purdue Global, they allow students to transfer up to 75% of the total credits required for graduation, and the average bachelor's graduate earns their degree in about 2 years. Of course, each online university has their own transfer policies and rules, so you'll definitely want to do your own research, but I at least wanted to make you aware of this. Now, the other thing you need to look for here are trial periods. In some cases, online universities will actually allow you to do a totally free trial before committing and dropping thousands of dollars in tuition. For example, once again at Purdue Global, they offer a no financial obligation 3-week trial period. So essentially you can enroll, take classes for 3 weeks, see if you like it, and then decide whether you want to continue or opt out with no tuition costs, which I think is a really nice option for students that are maybe not 100% sure that they want to go back to school. For more information about how these trial periods work, check down below in the description. I'll have a link down there over to Purdue Global where they'll walk you through everything. Okay, so the next factor to consider is financial aid. And when I say financial aid, I'm not talking about student loans, because at the end of the day, pretty much anyone can go out and get themselves a federal or private student loan. Rather, what I'm talking about is the average amount of institutional aid that universities provide directly to students. In other words, what percentage of new beginning full-time students get grants or scholarships from the actual university and not third-party sources? And what is the average amount of that aid? This will give you a good idea of what your chances are of securing funds directly from the university to help reduce the overall cost of earning your degree. And yes, that type of information is publicly available if you're wondering. You can actually get this data directly from the U.S. Department of Education. So I'll go ahead and drop a link down below in the description over to the U.S. Department of Education's website so you can check out what the stats are for the specific university that you're interested in. Okay, so before we move on from the topic of financial aid, I should mention that some national online schools also offer different incentives and promotions to keep students enrolled and engaged after they start. In most cases, these incentives are called progress scholarships, welcome grants, or something to that effect. Essentially how they work is that if you stay continuously enrolled at the university and meet some other basic eligibility requirements, schools will often reduce your tuition rate in order to keep you motivated and on track to earn your degree. And the other item you need to inquire about is tuition locks. Some online universities will actually lock in your tuition rate for the duration of your degree program when you first enroll. This means there won't be any surprise tuition hikes down the road. So definitely make sure to ask if these options are available to you during the application process. Okay, so the final factor on my list today that you should consider prior to enrolling is program format. But before I cover that, I should mention that every single month here at Test Prep Insight, we actually give away a $500 scholarship to one lucky subscriber just as a way of saying thank you and to help ease the financial burden of higher education. It's super simple to enter. Everyone is eligible. I'll put all the details down below in the description, but just know it takes like 10 seconds to enter, and hey, you never know. You could win $500 to help pay for your nursing degree. Okay, so back to program format, or in other words, how the courses and terms are structured or scheduled. In my experience, most online degree programs fall into one of 3 buckets: short accelerated terms, traditional school terms, or self-paced. So in that first category of short accelerated terms, some online universities work off of 5 to 6 week terms in which students take 1 or 2 courses max. The courses move very fast, taking just about a month, but the nice thing is that you only have to focus on 1 class at a time. You don't have to juggle 3 or 4 courses at once. So if you're the type of student that maybe has trouble multitasking or staying focused, then this type of program format might be a good fit for you, assuming you have the free time for a compressed schedule. Now, the second type of format is the more classic college experience that you're probably used to, in which you take 2 to 5 classes per term. This is your typical quarter or semester system, where terms usually last anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks. I'd say the majority of online universities fall into this bucket. So if you want a more typical, traditional higher ed schedule, even if part-time, I would focus your research on these types of program formats. Purdue Global, which I've mentioned several times already, follows this format. They offer 10-week terms in which each program requires a weekly commitment of around 15 to 18 hours on average. Again, the link for Purdue Global will be down below in the description. They have some helpful information on their website regarding how their courses and terms are structured, so you can get a better feel for this type of program format. Okay, so last up here, I want to cover the self-paced learning formats that seem to be picking up steam in recent years. Essentially, with these types of degree programs, you can take courses at your own pace and move on to the next course whenever you're ready. So if you want to knock out multiple courses at a time and fly through the degree program as fast as possible, you can, in as little as 15 to 18 months in some cases. Or if you have other obligations like a job and kids and you can only spare a few hours per week, you can slow it down and study at your own speed. So bottom line, if you're super busy or you have a chaotic schedule that's constantly changing, this type of self-paced program might be a great fit. And sometimes there's schools that offer both types of degree formats, like Purdue Global. You can earn your nursing degree following the traditional path that I just covered a minute ago, where there's 10-week terms, or for select students, Purdue Global also offers what they call their Excel track, which is a perfect example of the self-paced degree format where you're in the driver's seat. And that about does it for this video. I know making a decision about something as important as your education is extremely difficult, so I hope this was some helpful advice around online universities and gives you some guidance in finding a nursing degree program that fits your long-term goals, budget, and learning preferences. Again, if you want to learn more about online nursing degree programs, be sure to check out the description below. I'll have a bunch of helpful information down there for you, including guides and resources related to scholarships and financial aid for you to check out. Also, if you're interested in another degree area outside of nursing, be sure to check out the rest of the videos on our YouTube channel. We have a ton of helpful content related to higher education. But anyways, as always, thanks for watching, best of luck, and I'll see you in the next one.